readers! Welcome back to the Toppling TBR. I'm Stacey.
And I'm Hannah. And today we're doing something new. We're doing Quicksilver. I got the OG one. Oh, you have the newer one.
I want that one, but they only have it in paperback.
Yeah, I have paperback.
I wanted hardcover.
Eventually I'll get that one because Brimstone comes out today and I want to have a little matching set.
I know.
Yeah. All right. So let's dive in. We start off, we're going to go chapter by chapter. So we did the climb, this one, where, obviously Saeris is in front of a couple guardians or a guardian, and he drops his gauntlet, and she decides that she's going to take it from him and run, which is, at first I'm like, dang, this girl is ruthless. She's fearless. But really, I just get the vibe that she's just kind of like a cornered animal at this point, and she's desperate. So she runs, and then it has her climbing up from the guardian, and we actually get a little glimpse of like her hearing the quartz speak and the metal speaking, which I thought was super cool. I guess I didn't catch that on my first read through.
I didn't either, and I made a note of that. I'm like, how did I miss that? That's like pivotal to... How did I miss that?
Yeah, and it's like, oh, she sees us, she feels us. And I felt like, I don't know, were you listening to the audiobook or were you just reading it?
I did both.
Okay, I feel like the excitement or the urgency from whenever the metal speaks to her all the time. And so in that one, I was like, oh, how excited are they to have somebody to talk to?
Yeah, I know. Oh, I thought the audiobook was great. Like, it was really good. I immerse read some of it. I actually managed to do it. And I was like vibing. It was great.
The more you do it, the more you get used to it. Like, you'll crave that. At least I do. So also, one random thing that I just kind of mentioned in here was that Saeris' mom had gotten her throat slit by a guard. And it said that immediately following, saying that lying to a guard is punishable by death. But did we find out why Saeris' mom was murdered?
Not in the sections that we've read so far.
Okay.
Because I would have definitely have noted that.
Yeah. So, like, we hear later, like, obviously about Elroy being involved in the rebel and stuff. So I'm assuming it has something to do with that. Or maybe she had magic. So. Because, okay, so I didn't know if it had said that and I missed it because, So, yeah, that's really all I have from this chapter. She runs away and she gets away from the guard with the gauntlet. Do you have anything else?
I was like, because I made notes about the fact that she automatically goes to Elroy's glassblowing shop where she works to try and hide it because she knows where they live is not going to be good enough to hide it. And he wants no fucking part of it. He's like, nope. Because I guess he's already been through all of this stuff with the rebels and whatnot. He understands what she's just bringing down on herself, and he wants no freaking part of that.
Well, he used to make weapons for the rebel movement, it said, and now he's just like, I'm out. No, like I feel like it has to be linked to it. It said he had like a really rough life, right? Like his brother starved to death, and he was in love with Saeris' mom. So like, I just had to be really traumatic for him to like lose his entire sense of identity and purpose, and then now just be this submissive man. I guess broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing the queen won. Like, what she wanted was to have them all downtrodden, and she took a rebel and made him into compliance, and that's kind of terrifying if you think about it.
No, it is. And it's sad. So he used to be this fighter now. So I feel like, I don't know, that's part of the reason why Saeris stepped up into that role.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I guess I never thought of that. That is probably exactly why.
I'm sure if he was in love with her mom, then her mom was also involved or, pushing for the making of the weapons. So she's, probably doing it for him and for her mom.
Yeah. Well, they have virtually nothing there. Like, listening to what they said about the guard thought that they had some kind of disease.
The water rations?
Yeah, and it's nothing to do with the fact they've got some kind of a disease. They're just, the queen doesn't want them doing fuck all. They're not listening. They're not doing as they're told, and she's just a tyrant. Now, what were your first impressions of Cerys? Like, what did you immediately think about her in this chapter?
Honestly, that she's desperate. That was, highlight. That she, let's see, it talked about Hayden a little bit in this chapter. And was this the chapter that it mentioned his age? Because whenever it said that he was 20, I was like, really?
Yeah. I thought he was a boy.
Yeah, the way that she talks about him, right?
I was like 15 maybe. And then when she said he was 20, I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
You're babysitting this boy, man boy.
Yeah, I do not, and I know this is just a separate little thing. It doesn't really relate at all to the writing of the book. So overall, I do really like Saeris. I don't love the narrator's voice for her.
I didn't hate it.
I don't hate it. I don't know. She kind of like goes up in inflection at the end of everything and like she makes me feel anxious, which I guess is fitting because, Saeris is going through those high stress, high strung
Yeah.
emotions. So I guess it's a little uncomfortable, I guess. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite.
You know what? I didn't notice, but then when I started listening to the audiobook, I don't drink, so I had a glass of wine, and yeah, that might be why, or maybe it's a little tibble.
Yeah.
I don't drink. Yeah, I don't drink. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and it makes me flare up. But sometimes I'll have a glass, and yeah, I
That glass probably affects you much more since you don't normally
yeah,
drink.
I had the fuzzies like you wouldn't believe. I was all cozy. I didn't notice that. I'm gonna have to go listen now because I still have it from the library. So maybe I'll go and just see if I can
Yeah.
hear what you're saying there.
Do it, do it. I mean, I get used to it, but it takes me some getting used to. Some narrators' voices, I jump straight in and it just fits. This one took
Yeah,
me a minute to get in the right mindset for.
yeah. Oh, that makes sense. No, I'll give that a shot.
Overall, I like her. I like her.
Good.
She's not super annoying like some FMCs. Like, I don't have many, like, eye-rolling moments for her.
Oh, she's older, right? She's
She's
24, so I'm wondering if
24.
maybe yeah.
We're like, she's older. She's 24. She's still a
No, but I mean,
baby.
normally they're like 17,
Yeah,
18, 19. They're still kinda growing up as people.
right.
I think she's already I think that might be a why, but I don't know, she really babies Hayden, and I'm not a big fan of that. Like, he's a man,
Yeah.
for fuck's sake, let him get on with it.
Yeah, if you want him to have a chance at surviving in the real world, then give him a freaking chance to grow.
Yeah, stop swaddling him to your boobie, like, he doesn't need that.
Yeah.
He does sound like a little bit of a fucking idiot, though, as the
Yes,
book goes on.
that is true. We'll see.
Yeah. So moving into chapter 2, which they call Glassmaker. So she has this stolen gauntlet because she's hoping that it's going to improve hers and Hayden's life. That's a lot of material that she'd be able to melt down and sell, but she kind of needs somewhere to do it and she needs some help. And Elroy is having none of it. He's already been involved with the regime, with the rebels, and he knows the regime will literally kill everybody he cares about. And he is so not going to do that. So you can kind of feel the political tensions here. You can kind of see how much the queen has everybody petrified under her violent rule. And we're introduced to Charon. And you know what? He's such a shit, but I kind of love him. I already
Me
kind of
too.
love him. And he is like Hayden is being a shit. He's already been spanked by Charon and been kicked out, but he really wants his scarf because like I'm guessing the air must be terrible there.
Yeah.
So we also learned that Charon knows that somebody sold a fucking gauntlet. He's got a pretty good idea it's her, and he needs her, to get out of the fucking third because they're
Mm.
going to be in serious trouble otherwise.
Well, I think it said too that he doesn't live in the third. His grandmother, I think, lives there, and
Yes.
that's why he comes to visit. So he's trying to protect his grandma, which is so
Yeah.
sweet. Like,
Yeah.
he's set up to kind of be this sarcastic man whore asshole of a guy. But like, I
Yeah.
obviously by the end of the book love him. But like, even here, I kind of like him.
I know, so did I. I was like, oh my God. Because I thought maybe it was because I'd had a glass of wine. I was like, maybe
No.
this is just like brain fuzzies. But no, I went over my chapters again today and I'm like, I still really like him.
Well, it sets it up, to be obviously, he kicked Hayden's ass, right?
Yep.
He has Elroy's scarf/mask, which they used
Yeah.
interchangeably, which confused me for a minute, but
Yeah.
I guess it's about functionality. It's both. And
Yeah.
they do mention how sandy it is there, so I think the air
Oh, yeah,
qual
maybe it was the sand, yeah,
yeah.
I was like 'cause I know that it's, I guess not favorable there and they're missing water, and I'm like, "Why would the scarf matter?" But yeah, you're right, it did mention sand.
Yeah, so he's, beat Hayden up. He's got holding this scarf and like, "Oh, you have to have a drink with me before I give it back to you." And it says, that he's a thief and smuggler and whatever else he is. So it sets all that up for us to kind of not like him.
Yeah.
But then, it throws in, "Oh, but he's fantastic in bed." And he and he's cheeky. And then also, okay, so this was the thing for me. Whenever he's like, "Okay, well, if you stole it, like, you should give it to me so I can keep it safe." Like,
Yeah.
he's not trying to steal it from her. He's not threatening her like, "Oh, you
No.
better give it to me or this." He's legit trying to, like, look out for his grandmother and everybody else's well-being.
Yeah.
So that kind of paints him, as in a better light, and that made me like him a lot.
I do too. I kinda got the feeling that he's some kind of a criminal. He's got a criminal aspect about him, but he understands that what he does probably affects the people around him, and he seems really cautious, and it's
Mhm.
funny because I'm like, he's kinda hot, like, just even from like,
Have
he's
you
like he could be in a shit, but I'm kinda like, I'd totally be all over that. I'm
have
such
you
a
seen the fan art of him?
No,
Oh my
no.
gosh, I'll send it to you. He's so cute.
Is he really?
Yeah, oh
But
my gosh,
he
I'm not into
sounds
redheads, but I'm into him.
no, it's funny because I'm listening and I'm like, "God, I'm such a fucking poor. I am such a slut.
I like all the
Because
guys.
I thought Kingfisher was hot too, and I'm like, "Oh my
Yeah.
god."
No, she does a really good job at this. And oh my gosh, sorry, I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not jumping too far ahead, but like, have you heard the clip, the sneak peek audio of the brimstone?
No. No, I haven't yet, I haven't.
I haven't listened to the whole thing, but I've just seen like little clips of it, like on people's TikTok videos and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't love it, but I'm also unsure. And I feel like it's meant to trick us, but like it almost sounds like it's setting it up for like a love triangle.
Oh, no.
I don't want that.
No.
I
No,
don't want that,
please
but I
God,
think it's
no.
probably, like, a trying to tease us, but, like, I did get that vibe just from and I stopped listening to it after, like, 10 seconds, but I did hear that, and I was like, "No."
No, please
Yeah.
no love triangle. I can't do it, I can't do it. No.
I want Carrion to find his own.
Yes.
But yeah, let's see. So do you think though, this was one question I had. Do you think that Carrion's willingness to, take the gauntlet was like self-serving? Or do you
Yeah.
think it was him being protective of her? Because
I
like
think
how deep does he actually like her?
he does like her. I
Mhm.
kind of like from the way he comes across, like he could have taken the gauntlet off of her. Like he could have just done that. He didn't. He asked. So he clearly has enough respect for her that he didn't demand it and he didn't just try and take it. Like he could have forced it
Yeah,
out of her. Like
you're
she
right.
had it with her. It was not very much span of time has passed between now and then. He knows it's on her somewhere.
Well, no, she gave it to Hayden.
I know, but what I mean is from the time that she got over the wall to
Yeah.
going and looking for her brother, there's not a lot. There wasn't enough time to hide it, right?
He's
Like
the
it's not.
best thief and pickpocket and all of that in town. Like he could have absolutely
Yeah.
gone.
So I get the feeling that I think it's not like he's gonna make sure it gets back to the god. He's gonna
Mm.
do something with
Oh,
it.
hell yeah.
Like, he's not gonna I think it was like, you could Elroy, she's like, "You could throw it over the wall and just let it be dealt with," right? He weren't gonna do that.
He's like, "Get it away from me."
Yeah. He was petrified. He was scared.
Yeah.
How?
I feel like this moment too where Carrion, this guy who is, one to break the rules and one to do things for his own monetary gain, is
Yeah.
like, "Dude, get rid of it." I feel like this was the first moment where she was like, "Oh shit, maybe I'm in over my head."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
think she took it that seriously from Elroy.
not you know what? I don't either, but I think she's looking at it like, this is food, this is shelter, this is clean water. Like, she wasn't thinking about
Oh,
anything else.
absolutely. I get it. I get it. That's
I get it
literally
too.
cornered animal logic right there.
Yeah.
You're
What else
looking
was she
at the
supposed to do?
immediate gratification over any long-term punishment or consequence.
That's what all criminals do. They don't think about the consequences, they think
Yeah.
about the reward. Otherwise, they wouldn't commit the crimes.
Not even criminals, but people who are, I mean, not
Desperate.
necessarily dying, not like immediately, but slowly for sure. If you're being,
It's a desperation,
what is
quite.
it? Not starved to death, but the version with water.
Yeah. Well, it's not even clean. Like, I think I read that somewhere. It's not even clean water.
No,
Gross.
but yeah. So then, the end of that chapter, she walks out, I think, and Hayden had left with the gauntlet.
Yeah, little fucker.
Like, why?
Because he's just like that, I think. Because she wasn't surprised. As we see in chapter 3, she wasn't surprised.
He's been allowed to be a child for all 20 of his years instead of just, 15 of them. So, on to chapter 3?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, the kindest purpose. So she leaves, Hayden has left, and she hears this cry,
Mhm.
and it's coming from the Mirage area, and so she runs towards there because, naturally she assumes it's Hayden because why wouldn't it be? And he is surrounded by 30 guardians,
I
and they're
know.
all staring at him holding the gauntlet. Why? Sorry, he seems really dumb.
Yes.
Why would you pull that shit out?
No idea. I
Why?
have
And it
no
made it seem like the Mirage was like an area where they kinda congregate and stuff too. So, like, why go there? I don't know. Those
I
are
don't
questions for
either. I
maybe
don't
whenever we
e
get to know Hayden
I
more,
find
who knows?
that's why I thought he was younger. Because 'cause I'm like, 15-year-old dumb fucks do shit like that,
Yeah.
not 20-year-old men.
Who are living in squalor and, like, trying to gamble to earn money to eat and stuff, like, you're not that dumb. You can't be that dumb. But she did say they're polar opposites in every way, so maybe he is that
True.
dumb because she's super smart. So he's surrounded by 30 guardians, and, she's like, "Oh, I did it," and he's like, "No, I did it," and so she's like, "Well, I'm gonna save your ass again." So she pulls out a blade,
Yep.
and because she's been trained by the rebels, she is super efficient and able
Yes.
to take on all 3 guards that came for her. That was fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy fighting scenes, and I feel like Callie
I
Hart
do
does
too.
them pretty well.
I thought she did too. I thought this was really well done. Really
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah, and I really liked the sneak attack of the last guard where he, like, thought he like, it's at a moment where she was like, all right, now time to step up my game. And she saw him like realize and be like, oh shit, like that
Mm.
realization in his eyes. I enjoyed that moment.
Me too.
So she's able to take them all. And so she's, not just lucky or reckless. She's actually pretty competent, which
Yeah.
I love in an FMC. But then at the end of it, she is captured by some of the other guards, and she is super cruel to Hayden to get him to leave, which I absolutely understand why, but it was still kind of uncomfortable to read after
Yeah.
he idolized, like, that's his mother figure, so
I know. I know.
but
But at the same time, she didn't want him doing something stupid.
like,
He's just got a free pass to get the fuck out of there.
yeah, like I said, I get it, but I still don't like reading it. Another note I had about this chapter, and this isn't we'll talk about it later, but I just wanna point out how many times it's mentioned, is that Madra is alive after 1,000 years, was also mentioned there.
I think this fucking woman is human.
Well, it mentions later that they don't have gods, so they kinda see her as, this godlike figure.
I know,
I
but
don't
they're like, she's human. She's just lived a long time. No, no, no. You're not human if you've lived a long fucking time.
Yeah, she's fucking outlawed all magic and made it
Yep.
all a crime. What do you think she's doing with it?
Exactly. She's not doing the
No.
things they think she's doing. And she's evil. She's horrible.
She is. We don't get a lot of her in this first bit. I mean, we get a little bit of her
She's a taste.
in person, but we just kinda get, like, random comments made about her to
Yeah.
know that she's actually evil.
Yes. Crazy. It's so crazy. I
Yup.
wonder, like, why do you think Cerys treats Hayden the way that she does? What do you think motivates that?
Guilt. I think she, like, legit stepped up into her parents' shoes, like, with regards to, like, the rebel movement and, like, being defiant and taking care of everybody and everything, and I just think that because she's the oldest, like, I don't that she took on that responsibility. I think it's guilt, and it seems more like a burden than anything too, like, it does feel like love, but it doesn't feel like love in the way that she's assuming that it feels like love.
Yeah. Because I was like, she's part of the rebels. She's already putting her brother in danger. Like, I don't quite understand her motivations for babying him. Wouldn't you be setting him up to be successful? Because
Yeah,
it seemed really weird to me. I don't know.
I don't know, Saeris really likes to be in control of things too, so
Yeah.
giving him his, a little bit of room in his leash, kinda leaves things up out in the open and things could go wrong, so she
Yeah.
wants to protect him and she wants to know and control everything, so
That's true. That's very true. You're right. I agree with you.
mm.
Okay. Moving on to chapter 4, which is called The Price. So now she's been arrested and she has to deal with the queen. And the queen is a real fucking asshole. She is dangerous. She is ruthless. And Cerys doesn't know when to keep her fucking mouth shut because she's still beaking off at this point. I actually thought that that was pretty apt of her. It felt exactly how she would deal with danger. Like she really doesn't care because she's kind of saved her brother at this point, and she's probably thinking, "Whatever, what are you gonna do to me? What are you gonna do to me?" Right? The part in there about like when she daydreamed about going and working in the castle, because I'm guessing that's the only place where she would have been safe and fed and taken care of, right? So to be in a place now where it's fearful compared to how she felt about when she was a child, I thought was a really nice contrast. And then this is where we get like her and Harren talking, and I don't know, like she drinks the water and she thinks now she's going to owe money for it, but it doesn't stop her. She's still drinking the fucking water. But it just shows you the difference between they don't not have water because it's needs to be rationed because they're going to run out. It's literally punishment. So the castle has it in abundance, and where she's from doesn't. And that really, I was actually quite disgusted when I was reading that. I'm like, I can understand if it's all being rationed because otherwise everyone's going to run out. But to know that it's just being wasted somewhere else, I've really set my teeth on edge. I don't know about you. I
Yeah.
was like, fucking assholes. We discovered that people outside of the third are literally made to believe that they've got some kind of contagious disease. And even Harren believed that because he's walking around with the fucking pouches to protect himself from something the queen has done, which I thought was really fucking retarded. The fact that he doesn't seem to care that the queen is treating these people like crap, just it really set a tone for me that these people just don't care. They do as they're told, and that's it. She was complaining about the fact that the reason they're being treated this way is because they do ask questions and they refuse to bend the knee. Now, it becomes really evident that the queen doesn't think much of the people in the third. And I'm wondering if it is because they won't do as she wants.
Huh?
And her automatic reaction to her besting her guards was, "You must have been trained by the Fae." Now, why the fuck would you come out with that? Like, that seems like a really weird thing to think.
Because she
No one
fears the
believes you.
Fae. She
Yeah.
fears them so much, obviously, this is a key thing, and also, who else this little 24-year-old thin, pretty girl, who else is gonna be able to kill 3 of your trained, awesome guards and steal a gauntlet from another one?
It just considering the fact that no one in, like, her realm believes in these things anymore, it's a weird jump. It's a weird conclusion to think that it has to be Fae, that she couldn't have been trained by some elite humans. So that just also proves that she doesn't believe that humans are worth anything because
No.
she seems to think that it has to have been something way better that trained you. I was like, "Yeah, that's what
Oh, but she's also probably, like honestly, I think she's terrified of them because they have the ability to take away she's lived for 1,000 years, right? They could
yeah,
end that probably like that. She literally trapped them away, and that is the only way that she's able to reign with the
yeah."
power and authority that she can. And so I feel like every, like, time she hears something or, like, sees a shadow, she's like, "Oh, shit," you know? Like, she came in, had that meeting in that room just to make sure that all was still as it was so
Yeah.
that she was safe. So she's just like had 1,000 years of paranoia growing in her mind, and she's trapped in this castle by herself. So like,
That's a
I
good
get
point.
it. She's probably fucking insane and terrified and all. Like, I get it.
I know, but that was just such a leap for me.
Yeah,
I'm
it
like, "Wow,
was.
you must have been trained by Fae.
It was.
You've been taught to believe they don't exist, but that's where I'm going with that." Like, I
Yeah,
was just like, "What the fuck is this bitch on?
yeah. And
Looney Tune."
And with regards to the third, like, she wants them all dead because
Yep.
there's still dissent there. Like, and it said it's still rampant. So, like, obviously the rebel movement has been, like, squashed a little bit if, Elroy is not participating in it and he was
Well,
one of
she
their lead weapon
then
makers.
why can't she just wipe them out? She
Well,
threatened that. Why
she
don't
is.
if
She's
it's so
trying
bad, why not wipe it just everyone out?
because then everybody would know it was her, and then there would probably be more rebellion. So she's doing it in a way that is slower by poisoning their water supply and, leading people to think that they're contagious. So she's like quarantining them and slowly poisoning them where they are sick and dying off by
I know, but
malnutrition.
if you think about it, she could turn around and say, "Whatever is happening there is so bad now, we're gonna make it so you can't get in or out," and then she could just go kill everybody off and burn the place and just say, "We had to. Otherwise,
Yeah,
you're all gonna die." There would have been ways around that.
there would have been. Who
Like,
knows?
she's nuts.
She's
She's
probably
nuts.
scared of more rebellion though, because it seems like
Yeah.
she's really scared of,
Yeah, you're
people not
probably right.
bending the knee.
You're right.
That kind of along the same lines that Madra tells Heron to kill Saeris and then kill the one she loves, and then she says to tear the third apart, like annihilate them all, and that, essentially 100,000 people will pay the price for Saeris's theft.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if she'll follow through on it or if it's just a fear tactic, but it does show us how insecure she is in her power and that she does rule by fear and that she believes that rebellion is contagious and, you gotta pluck it up at the root.
Yep. You're not
So,
wrong.
she's pretty unstable and scared if she's gonna choose annihilation over, anything else.
Oh, yeah. There's no plan B, there's only plan A.
Mhm.
Crazy.
So, chapter 5?
Yeah, let's do it.
Chapter 5 is Heretic. So this is right after she's told Heron to kill Cerys. So they kind of have their little battle. And there was a quote in there that Cerys said to him that I really loved. She said, "It's easy to judge from a position of privilege." And I
Yes.
love that. Like, so many people need to freaking realize that and back down. So he is coming at her and he stabs her through the gut and twists it and like skewers her to the stone.
Yes.
And then, stabs her again, and he's about to stab her in another shoulder, and she's able to freeze the blade. And we kind of see him like, he's surprised and he's like, oh, and like training with the effort of getting it into her. And that was a hell yeah moment for me because right before that, I'm like, all right, he just twisted a blade in her gut. Like, how is she going to survive this?
Yes.
But do you think that this is the first time that Saeris realizes that she can rely on more than just like her actual physical skill and wit? Like, do you think that she ever thought she possesses magic? Or do you think that she was just trying to suppress the weird things that happened?
I don't know. I think that there is something there that she knows that she has some kind of power over metals because I think if you think about the logic here, I think she knew what she was attempting to do and it worked. Why would your mind go there? Like, yeah, I think she knows. We knew it from the wall when the wall started talking to her,
Yeah.
when the wall started talking to her. I think she knows. I think this has been going on for a long time.
I think she's just trying not to confront it because it is a crime and
Yes.
which is wild to me because if I had magic and I lived in a place like this, even if it was a crime, it would be in bed at night by myself practicing and trying to control it and master it.
I think she'd also be really worried that if she has powers, then Hayden might have powers, and they might both be killed off too, like, trying to
Ooh,
keep these things
true.
quiet.
True. Okay, so Heron is trying to, stab her in the shoulder and she's prevented it. And she is able to wrap her will around the blade and command it to unmake itself,
Yes.
which was super cool. And it liquefies
Very.
into silver. And then it starts moving towards the captain. And we see him like freaking out and like, no, 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 please make it stop. Oh my gosh, the queen won't let me go. Like, she won't understand. And he says that this will end the world. And do you think he's right? Do you think that it could have like this catastrophic consequence? Or do you think
It
that
will unmake
Madra's
the Queen's world, yeah.
I was about to say, I think Madra has just like led everybody who's close to her to believe
Yep.
that I
I
think
think
he's
that
more
she
scared of
knows
her.
her reign of terror will be over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So then Saeris is able to drag herself up and she starts walking towards the sword that she noticed on the way into the room that
Yeah.
kept like, drawing her attention. And, Heron's yelling at her, like, no, 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 don't pull it out. Don't open the gate. And she cuts her ties off and she's able to pull the sword out. And I don't know why she stabbed him in the shoulder, though, instead of going for the killing blow.
No, I kind of think she kind of likes him. Like, I don't think she wanted him dead.
Yeah, it did set up too that like he was this certain way. And then whenever the queen came in, he was kind of like this
Hard ass.
boring, by the book,
Yeah.
yes, yes, let me kiss your shoes kind of person.
Because he knew her, right? It's not like they were strangers. They knew who each other were.
Who, Heron and Saeris? Or
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if they knew who each other were. I don't think they did, but maybe.
They came across that way. Like, when they were talking, it felt like it's not their first time meeting.
I don't know. I'll have to reread and see. So she stabs him in the shoulder, and since she's pulled the sword out, now all of this silver is pooling at her feet, and she's kind of getting stuck in it. And she thinks that she sees death. She thinks death has come for her in person because she's dying, yeah? But one thing that I did notice here is that whenever death showed up and Heron kept yelling like obsidian, obsidian. And I just want to make a comment of this because I'm going to bring it up again later. This is like one of the few things that I kind of noticed. But then death gives her a silver chain and is like, don't die. And then she
Yeah.
passes out. So that's into that chapter.
Yeah. Like, it's funny that she went with death over hallucination. She's just watched fucking molten, like, metal all over the floor. Why do you think you're dying and not that you're hallucinating?
Well, you're bleeding out. And she said that she was like starting to like spin and like she legit felt like she was about to die. And he's this humongous, dark thing.
Hot.
I know. She's like, this
Mentions
is
that, she's
hot.
like, "That's good looking.
Yeah. You can take me. Here,
You can
there.
take me right now."
Sure. But yeah, I don't know.
Funny.
I probably would have gone to death too. I mean,
Really?
I'm sure it's a little different there, but like, we envision the Grim Reaper,
Yeah.
coming. So he probably had a similar vibe.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. I was just like, if that had been me, I probably would have thought I was hallucinating over death's coming to get me in
This is a
person.
good last vision. Okay.
Yeah. This is how I want to go out. Hallucinating a good looking man.
Oh yeah. Put me in his arms.
Yeah. Give me a chain.
Giving me jewelry.
Man, I say just met already getting jewelry. Be great.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it. So chapter 6 is Everlane. I actually love that name. I thought
I
it was
did
so
too.
pretty. I was like, oh damn it, no more babies. I cannot name anybody theirs. And I'm like, ooh,
Animals.
maybe a new pet.
Yeah. Animals. You got to save them for those.
So because I was like, oh, it's so sweet. My husband was like, good thing they took your Eurus. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So we start with Cerys. She's recalling a childhood memory of a devastating flood. And then she wakes up in a place. She's got no fucking clue where she is. And she's being tended to by somebody that she was remembering hearing their voices while she was in and out of consciousness. And the female is called Everlane. And obviously, she doesn't look fucking human. She's got pointy ears. And Cerys has this preconceived notion that the Fey, now that she knows they're real, are evil. So she kind of struggles with this idea of being in a place where she doesn't believe even existed, doesn't believe that Fae were even real, and that she's completely healed and that she's not dead. Like, can you fucking imagine that shit? Like,
No.
I was like, I would be really struggling with this. And I kind of think that she got over it a lot quicker than I would, because I was like, dude, I'd still be grappling with this. I would totally be fucking grappling with this. So she finds out that she is in the Fey Realm at the Winter Palace. And I want to make sure I'm saying this right.
Avelia.
Evalia. I'm like, because
Evalia.
I was listening to the audiobook and I was like, I said I had a glass of
Evalia.
wine and I was like, oh, that's so pretty. I'm like, I'm not going to remember how to say that.
Yeah, Evalia.
Failure. There we go. And in comes this fail male, female, not fail. Oh my God. My freaking brain's gone mental now. Fey
Oh,
male, red fist, and he is super pissed because obviously he needs a necklace from Death, who gave it to Cerys on their way through. He leaves. She finds out that she can't go anywhere, that the king has made it so that she now has to stay put and she has to meet him. And that
mhm.
was absolutely fucking terrifying. Not only are
Oh,
you
yeah.
in a crazy new realm, the king
Yeah.
wants to know why the fuck you're there.
Now she's a pivotal
Yeah, now
figure
she'll.
in this much larger picture.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And you know what? I feel like she did get over being in a Fey world and a new world pretty quickly. But at the same time, I feel like it would have taken her longer. It would have taken me longer if I hadn't heard even the negative stories of them. Because by hearing the negative stories of them, you know they're real.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I'd be a little bit more terrified because, you hear that they're like cannibals and like these terrible things. I would don't want to say people, creatures.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we also in this chapter learned that I found was interesting that Saeris is a Fey name.
Yeah. I noted that too. I'm like, I wonder what because obviously she can do the with the metal. I'm like, is she
Yeah.
Fae? Obviously she's not,
She's
but
gotta
that's
have some Fey
interesting.
lineage. Like if she's got
Yeah.
a little bit of magic and she has a Fey name and she's here for some larger picture, like who knows?
Yeah. That was an
Um,
interesting note.
but yeah, I also found it kinda humorous that whenever Renthis stormed in, he literally, like, stormed in like he was gonna come rip the chain off of her neck.
Yeah. I know. And then
He did not.
Everlane says something to him and he kind of
He's like,
softens.
"Oh, yeah, okay."
He kind of preens a little bit. I thought it was fucking cute,
That
man.
one's cute.
But could
Also
you
another
imagine that? This giant man comes storming in a room like, "I need this." Like, I'd be
and being
shitting my
Saeris, you
pants.
yeah, I'd be more scared than of King or than of death showing up.
I'd be petrified. Like, she managed to keep her faculties about her. I'd be crying.
Yeah. I'm like, "Sorry, I peed."
Yeah, fuck. No, thank you.
Yeah. Another thing I found interesting or wanted to note was whenever she handed the pendant over to him or whenever he took it, he didn't touch it, but she did, and she felt it was super, super cold and it was like humming.
Yeah, I do.
It's like alive with
So
magic
many
or
little Easter
something.
eggs.
Yeah. You got anything else on 6?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Chapter 7 is the dog.
Yep.
So in this one, they're walking to go meet the king and they're passing statues of their gods, which I think they call the Cochran. Cochran?
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't even gonna attempt to say that.
I don't know. I mean, I listened to audiobook, but I also wrote it and it's been a minute. But okay. And we also learned that there are no gods in Zilvarin and that
Yep.
Madra is the closest thing, which is already setting them up for failure. Do you want me to go into which gods are which? Or
We
just
can.
ones? So I found it was interesting in the beginning. Like Styx, it was doing like more like dark and like masked things. It was like Styx is the god of shadows, Kieran is the god of secrets. Nikini, I don't know, is the goddess of masks. So
They're
whenever I was reading that, I was like, "Whoa!" It's all like not negative things, but not typically what you
not
hear,
great.
right? But then it switched, I guess. So it's kind of got both sides. So Meleus is the god of dawn and new beginnings, and then this is one I found interesting. The 2-for-1 god is the two females and they're twins. So it's Baal Mithrin, and then I
Yeah.
guess there was a storm and it cracked them into two. So we have Baal for the sun and
Yeah.
Mithrin for the moon. He made the connection that in the Silver City, there are twins, which I think are 2 sons. So the sun is
Yeah.
always up, which was interesting. But their names are Belia and Min, which is
Yes.
super, super similar. And that's kind of a link between, here and her home.
Yeah.
And then the last one I had was Xerath, who is the god of chaos and change. And I did find it interesting that you don't want his focus on you, so people would touch his foot to try to like
Yeah.
distract him. Like, don't look at me.
No, I like that.
Yeah. Let's see. And then okay, so they go into the throne room
Yep.
and the king has the sword, which he pulled out. And there's also this massive skull of the last dragon. And one thing that I absolutely loved is that Saeris did not bow to him. And she
Nope.
was like, he isn't
You're
my
not my king.
king.
Not my king. I know.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, you're gonna be in
Ooh,
trouble now.
bold. Yeah. Yeah. I love that though.
She don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So then, they say that she woke the Quicksilver and that she'll be charged with that and opening pathways between worlds. So she just left her world being charged with the crime just to be brought into another world and be charged with another crime.
Easy.
Okay.
She ain't getting out of trouble.
Yeah. So then they say, bring in the dog. And they bring in Death, who we learn is Kingfisher, because everybody starts chanting, Kingfisher,
Yeah.
Kingfisher. And you kind of hear like such a range of emotions from like awe
You either
and
love him or you hate him.
fear and yes. And, we've learned that he's been exiled for
Yes.
torching an entire city.
Yeah.
And so this next part, though, I found kind of interesting. So Everlane is like, Malway, do something. And Malway is their oracle.
Yeah.
And he grabs the sword and it said she has blue blood, which does that correlate with oracles? Or do Fey here don't have blue blood? It hasn't mentioned it at all else in the book.
No.
I don't know, it's interesting to me. But she says that Kingfisher shall not die by the king's hand, and that the gods must be obeyed, or Halstibara, aka this king, and the Winter Palace will fall. So Everlane had just begged her to do something. Do you think she was telling the truth and that was a true
No.
vision? Okay.
No.
So
I
why
think
did
she's
the
a
king buy
fucking
it?
lawyer. I even wrote that. I was like, she clearly knew she wasn't in any danger and that she'd be believed no matter what she said.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what a tricky little, like, it's fucking hilarious. Because she wasn't going to say nothing. You could tell she was kind of like rolling her eyes. Yeah, I wonder what Everlane had on her.
I think she probably also likes Kingfisher. Like, she probably is like, okay, well,
She probably didn't want to get involved, though. Because
Yeah, but
otherwise she would have
Everlane
just done it.
is the princess.
True.
So she's probably a leader that she would want to follow, and she probably only follows the king out of fear because he doesn't seem like a kind leader.
Oh, are you kidding me? He sounds delightful.
No one ever is in
Nothing
this
about.
book.
I'm not saying anything negative about this one after I was wrong in Throw the Glass, okay?
About the Prince of or the King of
I hate
Otterman. Yeah,
myself. Fuck.
for sure. Yeah, that's all I got on that one.
Yeah, I think you pretty much covered everything. Yeah, this is my chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So chapter 8 is Alchemist. So this one centers on Cerys is waking up in the Winter Palace and she's thinking about like the contrast of what it's like being there compared to being back home. And even like the fact that it's snowing and there's two suns. And I was like, for her to notice these things, like there's two suns and in the other place, it wasn't like that. Like it's even different in the realm that she's in. I thought it was really interesting that she's even picking up on stuff like that. And she's preparing for the day with Everlane. And she can tell that the people in the palace, like, they have serious disdain for her. They're looking at her like she's dirt. They don't want her to be there, or they're just ignoring her. Like, can you imagine walking into a place and no one likes you? Like, that must be really quite humbling, especially as you're already a lowly human. Like, why would anyone care that you're there? And they meet, okay, I hope I'm saying his name right, Rusarius. Mysterious. Okay, I was close.
No, but that's your accent versus my accent, so I would still consider that correct.
Okay. Because I'm like, fuck, I'm so bad with this stuff. And he is a librarian, but he recognizes that she is an alchemist. But I thought that was really interesting because this is the first time somebody has given a name to what she is. And Kingfisher appears, bringing a serious tone to discussion about the future conflicts and Cerys's potential role in activating the Quicksilver portals, because obviously that is what they came through, right? That's what she activated for Kingfisher to come through and retrieve her. Now, the tensions rise around the political implications and the safety of Cerys's family and friends, and that's really where she's most focused on, is getting home to make sure the Elroy and her brother Hayden are still alive, because not only is she in this weird place, the queen made a promise and she's worried that the queen has acted on it and she can't focus on what she needs to do, which is saving herself, until she knows they're okay. And that's like a really pivotal thing in these first so many chapters, that the only thing that really seems to matter is making sure her brother is okay.
Mhm.
That's really what I got from that chapter.
That's
Yeah,
been her
again.
main that's been her
Yeah.
main purpose in life other than surviving. Like, that's been her goal of life
Yeah,
is
but
to
it's
provide
Hayden
for her
first, then surviving.
I
It's
know.
always Hayden
I know.
first.
I know.
It's fucking crazy.
One thing, though, on that one that I had was that in Avelia, I think so where she was before, the Silver City, was where there were two suns. And in
Yeah.
Avelia, it's more like what we experience, sun and moon.
Yeah. That's what I mean. She was like,
So
the fact she noticed these things
well,
was
it's gotta
crazy.
well, it's gotta be super disorienting because if there's two suns and there are no moon, then it would never be dark in the Silver City. So she wakes up and it's dark here, and she's like, What? That would be wild to, like, look
Yeah.
outside and have never seen a dark sky or stars for that matter. Like, I'm such a nighttime person, I'd be scared, but I'd be thrilled.
Yeah. It's absolutely mental. At this point, I would feel like I'm imagining this shit. I don't know,
I
like, I'm just
know.
not waking up for a fucking dream.
Did I
Because
die?
but yeah, you're dead and this is the afterlife. Like,
Yeah.
this is where you are now. It's fucking crazy, man. So
So,
crazy.
in here, also Rosarius, I wanna mention that I love him. He's so nice and so curious, and I really like his character.
I do too. He's very I kind of like that we're being introduced to, like, that all Fae have different temperaments and different personalities, and they're not all barbaric warriors.
Yeah.
Because Kingfisher is kind of douche canoe, really. Like, he's very
Yeah. Apparently he used to not be, but we'll see.
yeah. Well, I'm guessing that all the shit he's been through probably is gonna take its toll, and you have to harden
Oh,
yourself, but it's
absolutely.
nice to see that that's not the norm.
Yeah,
Like, he's
for
not
sure.
the norm. Yeah.
Other random things we learned in this chapter that I found important was that the sword's name is Solus,
Yes.
and that also, yes, Rosarius believes Cerys to be an alchemist, but that all alchemists have Fey blood. So that's another little link, not just her name and not just, well, I guess the talking to the metal and calling the metal and all that is that, but now it has a name to it, all the same. And one other thing that it mentions here that I did not catch the first time through, but after reading the whole book, obviously I caught it this time, is that there are rumors that the Duranthus are heir is in Zilvarin.
Yeah,
So I did not catch that the first read through.
I did.
Did
That's
you?
actually yes, I did. It's something I did know because I remember.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I have on this one other than it ended off saying, her telling Kingfisher, that yes, she has spoken to an affected metal and that yes, she does have forging experience. So
Okay.
chapter 9, Righteous
Yeah.
Purpose.
Yeah, let's do it.
Starts off strong. I love that Kingfisher walks by all the gods and flips them off. Love it. Shows his rebellious and, anti-authority personality. We learn that Saeris is the only human there in Avelia.
Yeah.
There used to be a lot, and that we kind of get a little bit of the backstory about, why she believed them to be cannibals and all of that because they were cursed by, I don't remember who they were cursed by, but that's when they got
Sorry.
their canines and they
Yeah.
actually used to drink human blood in
Yeah.
order to retain their immortality, which I don't know if I just skimmed over that part or if it just barely touched on it, and we're going to dive into it deeper later, but
Yeah.
did it say how that curse was broken?
No, no, because all I wrote down was until the curse was lifted.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think it said, I think it just they obviously did something to break
Yeah,
their
I'm
own.
interested
I
to
don't think we really
see
went into
if
detail.
we learn that later.
Yeah.
Also in this chapter, Kingfisher calls her Oshalith or Osha, and it is a type of butterfly
Yep.
that, hatch, live, and die all in one day. I think that he calls her that probably because she's pretty and also because she's a human with a short lifespan, so
Yeah. That's
temporary, I guess.
I got from that as well, that he was calling her that because she is fragile.
Yeah, like you're beautiful, but you're fleeting,
Yeah.
kind of.
He doesn't wanna learn her name because.
Yeah. So we also learned here that Kingfisher is Everlane's older brother.
Yep.
So that ties him directly to the royal bloodline. And they go into the forge and they start cleaning. And she asks him what his chain is and why he's unhinged without it. And we learn a lot of information here. We learn that Quicksilver pulls our pathways to other realms and that Quicksilver is volatile and you can't touch it with your bare skin. And if you do, it'll like push you beyond your sanity, which is what he's experiencing. We also learn that the pendant is from his mom and it is super duper powerful and that he traveled without it once and it left some Quicksilver in him, in his eye. And now he has to wear that pendant to
Yeah.
travel, but also to calm that noise. So my question there is, did his mom know about the Quicksilver terrors? Like, did she have experience with traveling with it as well?
It comes across that she obviously knew.
Yeah. Like, did she have some Quicksilver in her too, maybe to like know that the pendant needed to be what it is and maybe know that he is a curious, explorative, boy by
Little
nature. And
shit.
so he's going to need it. Yeah. Little shit.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
I kind of thought that she did know. That's what I got from the story, that
Yeah.
she knew.
So I'm curious because I don't think he had that Quicksilver in him before because it said later that she passed
Yeah.
away, still thousands of years ago. So I
Yeah.
don't think that that was still there, but who knows? And we also learned that he gave Cerys the relic whenever they traveled through because she would have died otherwise.
Yeah.
which is sweet of him, sweet of him. Well, there's more about that later. And then at the very end of the chapter, Kingfisher uses his magic to clean away the rest of the forge once they were almost done, and just is like, "Oh, well, I wanted to know that you could do the hard work."
I literally made a note of that. I'm like, is it really that he wanted to know that? Or was he just punishing her because she asks too many questions?
I don't know. They have a really interesting relationship with like mentor slash control, and I'm not sure with that one.
Because I'm like, why would you waste time? You know you've only got a certain amount of time because this was my hot take on it. They know they've got 7 days because that's what the king has given them, right? Why would you waste time making her do that? Like, it
Well,
seemed really unnecessary.
yes and no. Also, before she starts, she also needs to know the importance of Quicksilver and that you can't touch it with your hands and all these things that he's telling her. She needs to
Right.
know. So I think it was kind of like your, prologue. Like read the instructions before you begin.
I guess that's true. I'm like, I feel like he already what he's saying and doing is not matching the plan he has in his head. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm like, what a waste of time to see if she would clean. Because what if she didn't? Why is he just suddenly not gonna teach her?
I think he's also super intrigued by her and interested in her. So
Yeah.
it was a moment that they could have conversation and he could watch her bend over a bunch. I don't know.
To say that. I kinda wanted that.
Yeah.
Perv. He was just as bad as me.
I mean, you can feel the tension through the pages.
Well, yeah, you can. You totally can. She's done a really good job. Callie Hart's done this really good job of setting up their like enemies to lovers, but it's like vibrating and the banter's really good. That's one of the things I really did enjoy. I thought the banter was really well done.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. The first time I read it, I didn't think the banter was I felt like it almost came out of nowhere, but then in reading it and picking up on like the little micro cues and stuff, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed it more the second time through actually.
Yeah. It's funny because I was talking to my cousin about this. I'm like, I read a book and I had what I thought about it written down, and then I listened to it to kind of catch up. And I changed my mind on things. And I don't know if it was because it was a second time through or whether it's because I listened to it rather than reading it. Like, so yeah,
Being able to hear the inflection of
yeah,
how they're speaking, and honestly, the dude who voices Kingfisher, so I feel like Kingfisher is a character that people either I don't think people really hate him, but I think people don't like the Quicksilver series, and they don't really vibe with him.
yeah,
And I
maybe that, yeah, I
think
don't know.
being able to hear the inflection the voice narrator does such a phenomenal job. Not only is his voice super sexy, but, like,
Oh, yeah,
he's able to grasp, like, the danger and the flirtation and the intrigue and all of this that
yeah,
represents Kingfisher perfectly. Like, I love the dude who voices him.
yeah. I actually really enjoyed the audiobook. I'm not gonna lie. I went and got it on Audible, so I have it
Did
now.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get Brimstone next, I think.
Yeah, me too. It's like
I think I'm gonna pay
$40
for it.
right now, though.
I feel like it was necessary to have the audiobooks. I don't usually feel that way, but this
Ye
I feel
this
like
one,
that.
I agree.
It's chapter 10, which I thought was a really weird, like, chapter was called Crumbs. I'm like, "Okay." So, it starts out with Evelyn, and she's serving a unique breakfast of fruit and yogurt, which to us is not really that fucking weird, but I guess for Cerys, that is massively weird. And you can feel the palpable tension between, like, what's going on with all the people that are there, especially, like, with Evelyn's comment about Kingfisher being her brother. And what I really got from this chapter was that I think Evelyn thinks that there's no fixing Kingfisher. There's no bringing him back. I think she just thinks he's gonna get worse. It's almost like she's lost complete hope in having her brother back in any meaningful way, and I kind of got the feeling that Kingfisher knows this, and he's not telling her any different, and I
Right,
kind of got the feeling that there's a barrier between their relationship right
yeah.
now that hasn't quite cleared yet. But what was you gonna say about that?
I was saying you're just driving a wedge between them. She's trying to change him instead of accepting him for what he's gone through and who he is now, and ultimately probably bringing him back a little bit along the way by going that route.
Yeah. Like, I just don't know. I don't know. I could feel the tension, and it made me a
Yeah.
little uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie, because I wrote that, and I'm like feeling a little uncomfortable right now, and I put that
Yeah.
in like quotation marks. But one of the things I loved about this chapter was that we learn more about the alchemy. So there wasn't just the one path, like the one that Ceres seems to have, which is transmuting metals, but there was a path to learning how to become immortal, which I kind of was like, ooh, queen,
Yeah.
ooh, queen. That's kind of where I went with that.
But it does say you have to be Fey to be an alchemist. It mentioned that she is human like twice. It didn't expand on that, but it mentioned that
No,
she
but Cerys obviously could control metal, but she's not Fey.
yeah.
Well, I'm wondering now, I'm like,
Maybe just have
maybe
some
there was
lineage or
something.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I was like, because that made my little antenna go up. And then they had one so you could heal. So they could use
Uh-huh.
alchemy for healing. So I really enjoyed that they explained that in this chapter.
I did too.
And they seem to think that obviously that Ceres obviously likely transmutes metal. Maybe she could do more than that. Who knows? But that she can activate and control the Quicksilver, but they don't know how to do that. Doesn't look like there's a lot of information on that, and we don't know much about it right now. But she also learns that she's actually speaking common Fey because she can read it and understand it. And I was
Yeah.
like, that would have blown my fucking mind. I would have been like, holy shit balls. Like, I'm thinking I'm speaking something else, and really, I'm speaking Fey?
And
Like,
I'm more
that's
Fey than
crazy.
human?
Yeah, like, that's insane to me. Insane. And also, I don't know why I got such a kick out of this, but they're flirting, Cerys and Kingfisher flirting about his cock size was just like, I'm like, this is exactly how flirting would go with these two. I can feel it in my bones. Like, I can feel it in my bones. And then when he puts a piece of Quicksilver in her hand and the pain is like totally insane, and he's teaching her, like, I kind of was like, he throws her in at the deep end because he's like, now push past the pain. Like, listen past the pain. What are you hearing? And then she fucking smacks him right in the gob. I'm like, yeah,
Good. I'm glad she's
yeah. Like, Chris, can't ease her in? You fuck.
You're gonna hurt me without warning. I'm gonna fucking do it right back.
I laughed so hard. I had to go to the bathroom. Like, I
Yeah.
was laughing that hard. Like, I
Yeah.
had to go. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wet myself. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I was fucking dying, man. It was hilarious. Cause she would just didn't even think about it. She's like popped him straight in the
He's
face.
bold. I love it. The only other random things of this chapter that I found like kind of important was that we learned that you don't need magic to close the doors between the realms. Like the sword will suffice. I don't
Yeah.
remember what they call it later in the book. I want to say they call it a god sword or god blessed or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I
But
don't
we learned
remember.
that Solus is the only one, and apparently that can work as an alchemist. And then also when one pool of Quicksilver is activated, all of the Quicksilver is activated. So when Madra like cut the cord and blocked it all off, Fae were trapped wherever they were in different
Yes.
realms.
Yes.
So that kind of raises the stakes for Saeris right there with her experiments and her mistakes. They could have like super far reaching effects. Like,
Could
so
be a
that to
really
me, I was
problem.
like, oh, okay, that would be a little bit like a no pressure kind
Yeah.
of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did thoroughly enjoy, but also I was like, where did that come from? That whenever they're flirting and he's like, ask me anything, she's basically like, how big is your dick? Like,
Yeah. It just
it's
seemed
fitting for
fitting.
them.
It just seemed fitting. Like, when I was reading it, I'm like, she could have gone any way with this, but this
Mhm.
is right. This
Yeah.
is exactly how it would be between them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I was
but
good.
yes, love that she punched him. And that is actually perfect to leading into chapter 11. It's called Swallow. And I absolutely love it. Starts off in Kingfisher, after being punched in the face, throws her over his shoulder and carries her and throws her on the bed and says, bad human.
Yeah, I know. And I wrote dying. Like, I was fucking loving
It's
this.
so funny. Like, do you, what? He's like, I don't know. They have such a rough teasing and like, I don't know, complicated dynamic. And like, I also feel like he doesn't quite know how to handle her.
No.
It's so funny. It was so funny to me. I
I
loved
was
that.
dying. It was hilarious. Hilarious.
Yep. Also, random note, it mentioned it in an earlier chapter, but I just wanted to say it one more time. I do love that she hates wearing dresses. I feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of common among FMCs who can actually fight. Like I've
Yeah.
read that in several books, but I really enjoy that.
Could you imagine trying to throw a punch whilst you're wearing a fucking corset and your legs are kind of.
There's actually one book that I read that I really enjoyed reading. Have you read Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson?
Have not. I do have it. I haven't read it yet.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. If you want to do a deep dive into that series, I am down. But there is the FMC is, you know, a good fighter and all of that. And she has to go get her dresses made specifically, like, so they still look alluring and feminine, but that she can move in them. And I really enjoyed reading that aspect of that. So, I mean, there are ways to make it happen, but that's a
Of course.
random little tidbit. So let's see. We also get a bit of backstory of Kingfisher in this chapter. So
Yeah.
when he was 10, his dad named Finrin, which I just have to pause because I laughed out loud that we have a fish and a fin.
Yeah.
And I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, his dad went to Zilvarin on a mission and never returned. And that the king Belicon said he was responsible for the Quicksilver stealing and declared him
Yes.
a traitor to the Fey. Yet on the opposite end of the coin, Kingfisher is saying that Madra was the one
I
responsible
know
for
you.
stealing the Quicksilver. And, shortly after Belicon married his mom and was pissed that she brought Kingfisher. Like, who's not gonna bring their kid with them?
What are you gonna do with him? He was 10, right?
Yeah, so he hates Kingfisher, which Kingfisher hates him too, rightfully so. And then we learned she died shortly after Everlane's delivery.
Right.
And he kind of blamed that on Kingfisher, I feel like, because it did mention too that it's difficult for Faye to have children and that like she wasted her good child on him or whatever.
I
Yeah.
know. How
Ugh.
gross is that?
Right?
Gross.
Disgusting. So, Saeris, whenever she had held the Quicksilver in the chapter previously, she had heard like many voices saying
Yeah.
Anarath Moore. So that's like on repeat in her head. It's replaying in this chapter. And she's like, what is Anarath Moore? What does it mean? She keeps hearing all of these voices. And like, I don't know. Do you think it's a warning? Or do you think it's like a remnant of past souls? Like, I'm super curious to learn more about it.
Well, so am I.
Because I don't even remember if we hear it by the end of the book, but I don't remember it if we do. So, love this chapter actually. So, Kingfisher shows up in her rooms hungover with food. He's like, I need to eat in here. There's rules. I'm hungover. Love it. It adds so much like humor and humanity to his character. He's just this hard ass, and now we know he goes out partying.
Yep.
He's funny, and he's choosing to be around her whenever he's hungover.
And he brings
Also,
her cheese.
yeah, cute, right? So she's turned on by his canines and he can smell her arousal. So she then chokes on said cheese.
Yes.
He's like, swallow. And I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all's freaking dirty flirting. I can't.
They're so bad. So bad.
Yeah. And then Everlane shows up and can smell it. She's like, it smells like sex in here. And Kingfisher takes the fall for her, which sweet is that?
I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
Weird, but sweet.
But yeah, that's all I have there, except for at the end, she learns by Rusarius tells her that she's asking questions. And in order to travel with the Quicksilver, you just have to like really put your mind on it and think with
Yeah.
intention. And then he tells her where the pool is. So
Yeah.
he starts building her plans
Yeah. And her only plan is to get the fuck home.
to get to Hayden.
Yep. To a man.
Yeah, when you have a very beautiful one here with you.
And as far as she's
Whatever.
concerned, he could already be dead. Like,
I know.
you know what I mean?
And then you're gonna be back in a place where you have to steal water and you're
Yeah.
wanted.
I know. This just shows that she does not think about herself first. It's always Hayden.
No, she does not. You are correct.
Chapter 12.
Yeah,
So this one's called Fox. Absolutely. I love this chapter.
me too.
I love this chapter. So this one, it basically centers on Cerys and Kingfisher at the Blazing Forge where he's working with the Crucible. And again, they're always fucking flirting. Like, they're flirting. Kingfisher is basically accusing Cerys of, like, oogling him and mocking her denials. I thought it was fucking hilarious. I love their banter, and I think it just gets better as the book goes on, because I was so lost in this, I had to go back and read the chapter again, because all I could focus on was them, like,
Mhm.
bantering back and forth, and I'm like, "Oh, fuck, I didn't write anything meaningful down." Like, I didn't write nothing meaningful
Just
down.
smiley faces and hearts.
I was like, "Dirty flirting, love it." And I'm like, "Oh, that's" no. No, I really enjoy the fact that he refuses to use her name, and he calls her Osha. And I know that he's calling her that because it irritates her, and I really like that too, because he knows full well what her fucking name is. Like, what's the harm in using it? But
I mean,
he's such
enjoy the nicknames. I always enjoy the names, but it's kind of sad that like I feel like using the name, yes, he's fucking with her, and that is very on par for him. But also, like,
Yeah.
to use her name would show that he cares, and he doesn't want to do that, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is kind of sad. I guess he's so used to loss too, right? Like, he's
Yeah.
lost both his parents at this point. Like, so you can see why he
Little
doesn't want to
more
grow an
attachment.
attachment. I think he's already a fucking touched.
Oh,
How
yeah,
can he get
absolutely.
away with this? I don't know why he thinks he's fucking fooling.
Not me.
No, not me either. And he literally, at this point, reveals his plan that he wants to use her alchemist skills to replicate the lost art of creating relics, ensuring safe travel through the Quicksilver. And he talks and tells her all about the fact that Quicksilver is scarce and the purification process of using the Quicksilver is really complicated. Now, she's really resistant at first. She would rather die than learn how to do any of this crap. She just wants to go home. She's not interested in it. Now, I kind of felt like they were getting really close to like getting their freak on. Like, really close to it. But you can tell that she's really upset about the way that she can't seem to make the Quicksilver do what she wants it to do, and the scarcity in that. But we also learned that she had a reason for, like, coming on to him. So I was like, no."
Yeah.
And then the fox bites her, right? Which is the whole point of the chapter. Like, she gets bitten by the fox. He's like, "You're so stupid. Like, don't touch it." Like,
How would you not? That thing is so cute. First of all, she's never seen a fox.
I know.
You see a cute ass little white fox. I
No.
wouldn't let him touch it either. And I love that whenever Kingfisher was gonna go and kill it, Saeris growled at him.
I
And then
know.
the fox was like, "Yeah, you're my friend."
I know. I thought it was adorable. And it's funny because it kind of reminded me of, like, in Throne of Glass when she gets her dog. Like, every female MC needs their little,
They do.
they need their furry pal.
They do. So
Love it.
I do also notice in here, so Kingfisher, she's complaining about dresses or whatever. He changes her into pants and shirt and he takes his shirt off naturally. And he's got a wolf on his chest. So it's mentioned many times his wolf, plate piece or whatever it is right here. And now he has a wolf on his chest. And I'm
Yeah.
super interested to learn the significance of that because it's a really prominent symbol with him.
Yeah.
So I don't think we learn it in this book. So hopefully
I
Jen's
have
going to
no,
dive
I
into that.
haven't I haven't noted anything on that.
Yeah, and then I love that she wants his pendant, right? So he's like, "Well, come here and touch it." Like, he
Yeah.
knows exactly what he's doing, and he is absolutely weaponizing it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I do also love that he, like, leaves everything in her court. He's like, "Oh, well, you could kiss me." Like, I like the way that that all led up into it. He left everything in her court, and even at one point, she was like, "Don't touch me," and so he, like, let go. He's respectful, but also, like, so vulgar with his words. But, like, just I don't know, he's so suggestive.
Yeah.
I love it. I love their
I
dynamic.
I do too, but I kinda get the feeling that he knows that saying these things, it's gonna trigger her off to do these things because she
Yeah,
doesn't like to, yeah. Like, he's already got the measure of this woman, like, right
absolutely.
from the get-go. He knows exactly who she is and how to get under her skin, and I love that.
So do I.
Brilliant.
And I do wanna also mention here because later it kinda flips how he's like, "Oh, what do you know about the Fey anatomy?" And he's like, Your human hearts give you away, like, it's like a hummingbird." And so his was, like, super calm and steady here. So that was interesting. That comes back later.
Yeah.
So, you
It's
ready for
all
the next chapter?
playful. Yes. Let's do it.
Okay. Chapter 13 is duress. And here, Saris has been able to get the ring off of him. And so she's already been packed and she is running down, down, down the tunnels, the Quicksilver pool, obviously with her fox. And then she can like feel the Quicksilver calling her. And they're like, oh no, there's another way. And so she is trying to make it down there where she's hit with a black wall of sand that takes her down. And it's Kingfisher. And he's like, oh, are you leaving without saying goodbye? And I love that he's still hungover and he's like, you broke another one of my rules. I love it.
I did too.
Um, and so she's got this ring on her thumb, right? And we learn here that the ring is actually not a relic, and that implies that he traveled through the Quicksilver with her without one, even
Yep.
after knowing the
What
the implications of that. Yeah, it could have killed him. It could have made
Yep.
him legit insane, not being able to come back. So
Yep.
that is, I don't know, kind of sweet. And then so he really learns how important it is for her to get back. She's willing to steal
Yeah.
from him and run away and travel with no knowledge of what she's doing.
Yeah.
And so he agrees that he will go to Zilvarin and he will get one human for her and she'll help make the relics. And she's not really a toss up, but she's like, I want to. She ends up choosing Hayden and they do a blood oath where he says, assist me and do what you're told. Like, seriously, Saris? Are you that not?
Because she was that desperate. And that's
I
all this is
know, because
desperation for her
one
brother.
thing's on her mind. Hayden,
Hey,
save
hey,
him.
hey, yeah.
Fucking put myself in trouble. I'm gonna save him. Life is good.
Yeah.
So, why do you think that he specifically requires obedience from her in this oath? Like, do you think it's to keep her alive, or do you think it's just honestly to teach her a lesson and to fuck with her?
Kind of feel like he feels really responsible for her. She wouldn't be
Yes.
where she is now if he hadn't have brought her through the Quicksilver pool. And I think that he knows that without, like, she's already tried to run off. Like, she don't want to do none of the shit he's asking.
She's
I
a
think if
loose
he
cannon.
doesn't, yeah, I think if he doesn't have that control over her,
Yeah.
he doesn't know if she's gonna say she's gonna do something and fuck off or do something else. I think he can't protect her unless he can control her, and
Yes.
that's really not good either.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
So also in this, so he goes through, they do the blood oath, he goes through. While he's through, she decides she's gonna name her fox Onyx.
I know.
Perfect. And after an hour is up, she opens the portal and Kingfisher's back with Carrie and fucking Swift. That's so
Oh,
good.
it was
I
good.
mean,
It
he
was
is
so
fun.
good.
Can you imagine how boring this plot would be if he actually made it through with Hayden?
You know what? I'm actually glad that she didn't go that route with retrieving the brother because I
Me too.
think he would have irritated me enough that I probably wouldn't have wanted to pick up Brimstone.
Well, they both need to grow as people away from
Yeah.
each other. And
You can't do that under her. You
Carrion
can't do it under her.
provides so much humor and lightheartedness, and he's perfect for all their serious brooding, things that they have to go through. I love it.
It makes you wonder though, like, because obviously he said he'd try and get her brother. I wonder if he knew he wasn't really bringing back her brother. I know he said he could smell it.
I don't think I think it was an honest mistake.
You think so? 'Cause
Why would he choose to bring back somebody that she's had sex with
yeah,
if
I guess
he
that's
is
true.
into her?
I guess that's
They
true.
are innately territorial and, all of those
We
things. Like, and we see a glimpse of that here too. So, like, he
Yeah,
would
yeah, right.
never.
It was just an errant thought. I'm like, this
Yeah.
way, you wanna get back to your brother, like, you have to do all these things now. I kind of wondered if maybe he kind of knew he was wrong, but no, that makes sense. What you just said makes complete sense.
Yeah. 14.
Yeah, I'm ready. I actually didn't even write down what this chapter's called.
It's called The Fine Print.
The fine print, there we go. I'm like, "Hang on, I don't have a title here," and I'm like, "Shit, did I forget it?"
All good.
So this one centers around I guess now she's calling him Fisher, so I guess we've lost the king part, and they're dealing with the aftermath of the rescue, and, she's realizing that he didn't say he would bring the brother back, just that he would try, and she's
Mhm.
now stuck in this fucking blood oath for Carry On, and he is fucking unconscious too, so he's not got any clue what's going on. He is just, fast asleep as far as anyone's fucking concerned, and Fisher has been stabbed during the rescue, so he needs to get to a healer. Now, she has a fear of horses, and it's funny because 'cause I'm like, "Are these, like, Fey horses? So are they ginormous? Like, or is she just scared of horses, period?" And I'm thinking to myself, "I bet they're massive horses. I'd be fucking scared too." And he uses the blood oath, which I guess is when she realizes just what it is that she has
Mhm.
agreed to get on a bloody horse. And really, I was like, right there, I think I would have really hated Kingfisher if that had been me, because to force me to do something like that and knowing I have no control over that, that would have really upset me.
I'd be
Really
pissed.
really upset me.
Like, and she loves control, and so now she has none.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Like and she loves the fact that she has autonomy over herself, and
Yeah.
now she's given it over for a man that she didn't even fucking want fought over.
I
I was like, "Fuck, man, this has gone so awry for her, it's not even funny." And obviously Carrion's still not conscious, and Kingfisher's now decided they're not sticking around in the palace, they're off somewhere else. And she
Mm.
didn't sign up for that either.
Now she's
And it
his
makes
little
you
partner in
wonder.
crime.
Yeah, well, plus, now that he's got the blood oath, I wonder if he hadn't got the blood oath, whether or not they would be leaving right now, or that because he knows he can control her, that he's willing to leave the palace.
God. I know that they had to get far enough away in order to travel,
Yeah,
to
because
go
they can feel the
to
magic, right?
his hometown to do why did they go there? I don't know.
Because he wants to get her away from the king so that she can create relics for his army.
That's right. Okay.
Because the king doesn't give a
Well,
fuck
yeah,
about
no,
his army.
because, I mean, if you think about it, she could have taken off. She could have allied with his dad or stayed with Everlane, because she was kind
Yeah,
to her.
he couldn't
Yeah,
have forced her to
it
go,
probably
and
is
now he
the right
can.
time now that so I wonder if he had that all planned out beforehand.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if he did. This is what I mean about him having a plan in the background that we're not seeing.
Mhm.
Like, it feels like it's everything he does is very intentional,
Yeah.
not opportunist, if you know what I mean. I don't know.
Yeah. So this is where he says that he didn't trick her. He just taught her a valuable lesson, which is
That he tricked her.
he did, but that's such typical Fae behavior. That's in that's in so many books. But like, okay, so we see here that blood oaths are a little bit frowned upon. So maybe he's a little corrupt and, obviously he is. But at the same time, almost every other fantasy book I've read, Fae are tricky. Like they're tricky
Yeah.
and they're conniving and they do things for the betterment of themselves. And I mean, falls in line with all of that and, better him than someone else.
I
But yeah,
was like,
I'd be
"You
pissed though.
I'd be fucking annoyed. He did that
Yes.
on purpose. Oh, I'll try.
Yeah.
I tried. I'd be
Yeah,
mad.
right.
Yeah, baby.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
the magical residue. And this made me think, I'm like, okay, so is that what Anorath Moor is? Like, is that just a magical residue of the souls or whatever who have maybe died touching Quicksilver? Like, I
Oh,
don't,
maybe. It does
or
drive
maybe
him
are
mental, right?
trapped in the Quicksilver? Like, I don't know. So I'm wondering if it's
Ooh.
like a similar kind of deal.
Maybe.
Who knows? So they're writing. She's, obviously sore, and Kingfisher offers to kiss her sore parts. Very playful and inappropriate and very
More
Kingfisher.
banter.
Love it. And he had known, we learned that she had packed supplies because he peeked in her bags.
Yes.
Yeah, and he also, I found humorous that he said that she's not as smooth as she thinks she is and that she nearly dislocated his finger trying to take off the ring. And you know
I know,
what?
I
If that's true, then that just shows that Kingfisher lets her get away with so much just to
but no,
see what she'll do.
I guess that he probably knew that he had to give her something, and that's how he got the blood oath out of her. So that's what I mean, he was plotting.
Yeah,
Even
absolutely.
hungover, he's smarter than I am.
Yes. So another random note that I absolutely loved here. Absolutely love that Kingfisher's horse is named Bill.
Yeah. You've got all these crazy Fey names and things I can't pronounce, and his horse is
Yeah. That's just him, rejecting formality or like, I don't know, mocking what's expected of him. But
but
I just love that this terrifying, like unhinged, basically feral, like exile Fey male rides a horse named Bill.
Phil. Yeah. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Love it. So they get there, Carrion's sleeping it off in some stables or something, and they go into a tavern. And I really enjoy, she's looking around and seeing the vast, like, range of creatures that are Fae. Like, they
Yes.
look, I don't know, they're just on every range of the scale. And I absolutely love that.
Me too.
Love it. I'm curious to learn more about different creatures. And then so we learn that Kingfisher is taking her to his home where he was born, which is
Yep.
Kalish. And Bellicon had murdered the royal family and stole the crown for himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we also learned that Kingfisher's dad warded the entire town or city, and that as long as Kingfisher is alive, that those wards will hold, and that Bellicon and his supporters wouldn't be allowed in. And also that Kalish is a war zone, and so they're going into the thick of it. And also Renfish shows up when we learn that him and Kingfisher are BFFs, which makes me very happy. I love seeing playful sides to the broody main males. Like, I've got
I
to
do
have
too.
both. And so Renfis says that Bellicon is pissed naturally because Kingfisher stole not only the sword,
Yeah.
but also his alchemist.
Yeah.
So,
I'd be annoyed too.
and also we learn that the last time that Bellicon had an important sword, that he murdered the true king and the whole Denathus
Yeah.
Denathus line, except apparently the heir that lives in Zilvarin.
Yeah.
So, also learned that Solus was Kingfisher's blade,
Blade. Yeah.
which is cool, and that Nimarel still is the only sword. Like, all of the god swords have died or ceased to work, and then Nimarel still does. And it made a comment that Nimarel is the only thing between Abelia and the darkness for the past 400 years. And why is that? Like, I don't know why I wrote that down.
Maybe there's something magic there that's holding something at bay.
Maybe. I mean,
I
it
don't
is
know.
the last magic sword. I just didn't know what that was, what it was providing for, to keep the darkness at bay.
Intriguing.
I don't know. But anyway, so they're speaking a little bit louder and people all in the tavern start whispering and we hear the same kind of like, fear and awe and all of that. Like, Kingfisher, Kingfisher.
I
And
know,
people,
he's a fucking legend
I
there.
know, and people are just speaking of all of his accomplishments and they're speaking of him like he's a god.
Yeah.
And so I guess what I gathered by the title of this chapter is, I'm not sure, but I feel like Sarush is like their cheers. Is that?
Maybe.
I don't know. I was like, I don't know what that means, but I kind of assume it means like cheers.
Yeah, it sounded like something positive.
Yeah, that's all I've got on that one.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had as well, I think. Yeah, I think you pretty much covered everything. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to chapter 16, which they call Shadowgate. Now, it's so funny because obviously we know about the Quicksilver pools, but to travel vast distances, Cerys encounters what they call a magical vortex, the Shadowgate, where you can literally save yourself a lot of travel time and just walk through it and end up where you want to be. And again, she doesn't want to go through it. She has no idea what it is. She doesn't want any part of it. And he uses the blood oath against her again to make her walk through it. So the oath compels her body to obey despite her resistance. And she is fucking pissed at this point. She is so mad. And when Ren finds out that what he has done to her, like
Mhm.
he's using the blood oath to make her do these things, now they're at odds. Like they're
He's
not.
disappointed.
Yeah, like you can tell he was really freaking mad. And he goes as far as making sure the Fisher doesn't use it against her again, that he asks. Like he wants her to have her autonomy back, right? Like, that's
Right.
really bad. That's obviously that's something he doesn't agree with. And then Carry On informs Cerys that Hayden is actually alive with a new identity, and she can start to feel her resolve crack. Now that she knows her brother is safe and out of harm's way, and he's got a new identity, she can kind of get on board with what's going on around her. Now, Fisher asks Cerys to come with him instead of forcing her, which kind of surprises her, and informs Carry On that he can come and go as he pleases. So he doesn't have to worry about like being held hostage. Like he's free to go do whatever he wants. Like it's almost like, hey, buddy, go get yourself into trouble. Like no one cares if you die.
Yeah.
That's what from that. It was like, I really hope you walk into something and get eaten.
Dang. I don't think that he realized that Carrion's bored and likes company and likes Saeris and probably wants to hang out.
I was like, I just thought it was so funny because that's the vibe I totally got was like, we are free to come and go as you please. And I'm like, I don't think he means that in the way he thinks he means it. He's
Yeah,
hoping you get
no.
into trouble. Oh, fuck. I was absolutely dying.
Yeah, I think that Saeris hearing that Hayden was alive, and not only alive, but better off. Like he's now getting triple water rations and has a job
Yeah,
and
he's in
that.
District 7, right? Like he's in.
Yeah, I think that that is gonna be a pivotal turning point for her, that now she's maybe gonna be able to let him go a little bit and live her life here, which is very
Well,
needed.
she still wants to get home, but I think now she's willing to do what needs to be done
Now that she
there
knows he's
to
okay.
get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that she knows he's okay.
He
I
doesn't
don't think
need
he wants
her.
to stay. Yeah. I don't think he wants to she doesn't wanna stay, right? She still wants to go home.
Yeah, I'm sure she does, but why?
I wouldn't. You know what? I
I
wouldn't.
know. You get
Although,
clean water.
I don't know, there's gonna be a part in a minute with what happens, and I'm like, I could kinda see why she'd wanna go home.
Okay. Um, you covered that one really well.
Alright.
So 17 is Kalish. So they arrive in Kalish, which is where Kingfisher was born and I think raised. And the Kalish house there is just beautiful and homey. And whenever we walk in, we meet Archer, who is
Yes.
this super emotional little fire sprite who is like in tears over seeing Kingfisher and just hugging him. And I love that it kind of reveals Kingfisher's, softer side and his importance to his allies, that, he is a kind, loving person. And obviously this Quicksilver has changed him.
Yeah.
But
That's kind of
also,
what I got from that too, that the Quicksilver is
yeah.
causing these personality
And
shifts.
and Archer even like singed his shirt and he was like, it's okay. And like fixed it. Like he's like Archer's his caretaker, but he's still like taking care of him. And it was so sweet.
Well, I thought it was adorable. Like, it was really
Yeah.
so cute. It
It
really
did
humanized Kingfisher for me here.
did mention though that whenever they were hugging, there was a rune on the back of Kingfisher's neck and that it disappeared. And I was wondering, it mentions another form of that later on, but I'm like, what is this? What is this? 'Cause I don't know. Also, in this chapter, we learn that Rin has a magical ability to open doors to travel short distances, which is super cool. And I'm curious to see that in play later. Um, and that they go to the new forge while they're here, and it's humongous.
Yeah.
And she learns that she's going to have to turn about 15,000 family rings of his warriors into relics. So she is there for at least months of the foreseeable future.
Oh my god, and she's gonna be doing this alone, so yeah, this is
Yeah.
gonna take some fucking time. So you
Yeah,
can now you can see, like, "Hey, your brother's safe, he's okay, he's doing his thing, but I'm gonna make you pay."
absolutely.
But she wouldn't have known that if he hadn't collected Carry On either.
No.
Like, that's information. I guess technically, he's better off because he's out of harm's way, so technically Kingfisher did more than he
Yeah,
said he would do.
absolutely.
Could have taken him from a really safe environment, right? And drug
Right.
him into their war.
I think she
She
still would have
shows him a
accepted
few
that
rings. Shows him.
for sure.
Are you ready for chapter 18?
Yes.
All right. So this one's called Crucible. And this is basically centered around like them working in the forge and trying to work out how to create these relics because she still doesn't have a fucking clue what she's doing. Even though she's studying like the alchemy, the ancient alchemy books, she still hasn't had any success working with like the scrap metal, trying to find the right frequencies, combining different elements. Like I think she even tries it with flowers, doesn't she? Like, she tries to mix
She's putting
flowers.
everything in there.
Like
She's like,
she's
let me put this in there.
it's almost like she's throwing anything at the wall to see what sticks
Yeah.
at this point
Which
because she's
you
clueless.
don't know
And
where
there's
to
not
start. You have no
no,
instruction.
there's no book. There's no book telling her how to do this. There's no person there saying, "Oh, hey, I know a little bit about this." She's got
Yeah.
no clue. And honestly, I probably would have just sat down and said, "Fuck it." Like, I ain't doing none of that shit.
I live here now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit on this floor and I'll be it. But she also realizes that there's a very limited Quicksilver supply and that Kingfisher is restricting it. And for somebody who's come from a place where the water is restricted because somebody says so, this must be really fucking grating on her because it'd be really pissing me off because this is just making it even harder for her. Like, this is making something she's already struggling with even harder. And she's really frustrated with him at this point, too. Like, his attitude about the whole thing is really starting to get on her fucking last nerve. She can tell that there's like a lot of urgency to this and he could be helping more. But I could see that he's got rationale here of what he's doing. But she's pissed. But despite the setbacks and the cold working conditions, she keeps to going. She keeps doing what she's doing. And she's finding she really has skill here. And this I thought this was really weird. Like this whole thing about making her go for the dinner. Like she was like, I'm gonna
Rempus
eat.
is
And he's like, no.
doing, yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was really weird, like forcing her to go to dinner. And
Yes
then
and no. Like, so he right now, Rempus, I think that Rempus sees that Kingfisher is looking at her as a tool and not as a human, which is not going to get the best results out of Saeris. And also, I think that if he can look at her as an equal or a partner, then maybe it'll help bring back a little bit of his humanity and who he was before. So I think he's
maybe.
trying to kind of kill two birds with one stone here. I don't
I
know.
don't know, 'cause I kind of feel like Cerys isn't interested in it, and it was forced upon her. Like, "I'm
Yeah.
gonna eat somewhere else," and I was like, no." And then they're attacked by 4 fucking creatures. And this is where I was like, I could see why she wants to go home, because these things are disgusting.
Yeah,
Like, they
smelling like
obviously
Kingfisher and leaking maggots.
I'm like, I was reading it and I was like, "Gross, dude,
Yeah.
gross." Now they fight and they win, and the creatures, they called them feeders. And now she's realizing just how much these weapons that they need her to make are so important. Like, she's just come face to
Mhm.
face with it. Like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
that must be a real wake-up call.
Yeah.
This isn't just some fucking war against Fae. These things are disgusting.
Yeah, they are really gross. So, I don't yeah, let's see what else on there. Well, with regards to the Quicksilver, I know that they do have very limited supply here because Belicon has been, like, hoarding all of the silver. So I think that was purposeful, but also I put down that in this chapter, we learned that, Kingfisher says that Carrion he found Carrion because he was wearing her arousal.
Yeah.
And he smelt it from, like, 3 miles away, like, 3 months later, and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, "Okay, if he can smell her on him from that far away and in that time frame, how strong is that gonna be whenever she's aroused in the same room as you or whenever you guys finally do have sex?" Like,
Yeah.
because Carrion is a man whore, and he's probably slept with several women since then, like,
Loads.
wild that he could smell her from
Yes.
there.
Is it because he is attuned to Saris?
Maybe.
I wondered if maybe it was just that her scent's so strong.
Maybe. But we also learned that the feeders that are Sanis soldiers, that silver is the only thing that can actually kill them. So that was interesting. But also earlier in one of our earlier chapters, it said that alchemists can break down metals or even like turn them into different things. So I'm wondering if Saris can create silver,
Yeah, that
which
was
would be
mentioned.
interesting. Yeah. So
Oh,
who
very
knows?
intriguing.
Chapter 19, Bones and All. So this is where, Kingfisher admits that he was impressed that Saeris was able to land a couple kills while fighting the feeders, which,
Yep.
boost for her confidence. And she wakes up and realizes that she's in his room. He's destroyed all the paintings and he commands her to stay in his bed and rest while he goes to
Yep.
another camp for a week, which F that. I mean, I get it. I get it. You're trying to heal, but at the same time, no. We're also introduced to Taylana, the healer. We learn that Kingfisher gave Carrion boots, which was kind of nice of him, but that also he had Carrion scrubbed raw by a bunch of sprays to get rid of Ceres' scent, which I love. And Carrion's just clueless. And he's like, oh yeah, they really focused on my crotch. I had a good time.
Water Fey, yep.
Okay. So once she's healed, Kingfisher comes back. Renfis is like, oh, he wants you for dinner. She's like, cool, you guys come too. I'm going to invite everybody. If I have to go, you guys are going too. So at dinner, we learn that the god swords went silent. Or I mentioned this earlier, but that Nimmerl stayed. And I was wondering how, if it was like with regards to his lineage or maybe the wards. Those were my ideas on that. But at dinner, she sits by Kingfisher again, which we saw in the last one with the sprites reaction. And then in this one, Renfis spitting out his alcohol. Like apparently it's a big deal, which we will find out later why. And then they're just kind of flirting, back to their flirty banter. Kingfisher's over here and he's like, well, if I was actually evil, I would, order you to do sex things. That way you wouldn't have to admit that you wanted to do them. And freaking Renfis overhears him talking dirty to her. And he's like, oh my gosh, guys, like, get together.
I thought it was funny.
That's really all I got on that chapter, other than the fact that they're all going to go to a war camp tomorrow.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to.
Yeah.
You pretty much nailed it. Yeah. Okay. So chapter 20, and I'm hoping I don't butcher this word. Amontreath.
Is it
that right?
In? Hold on. I wrote ins, but it could have been my autocorrect changing it.
It's telling me I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, my thing sometimes changes it. Oh, this was a long chapter. Hold on. You go to the beginning of it. This is a very long chapter. Oh,
it
yeah.
was a big one.
Amontreath. Yeah, Amontreath.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
I was right.
All right.
So in this chapter, they use another Shadowgate to go to the war camp, which apparently is really close to where the enemy camp is, which I thought was really intriguing. So Fisher is some kind of commanding badass here, by the looks of it, because everybody is like, ooh, taking orders from him. It's like, oh no, he'd rather hear it from you. And he's like, no, that's not what's happening here. So Ren's put in carry on his ass, which I thought was freaking excellent when they were like training, like doing their training thing. And Cerys wants to have a go at training as well. And Fisher's like, well, that's going to take time away from doing what you're doing. It's going to take longer for you to get home. But she feels more comfortable training. She feels freer that way. Like she's used to having a sword in her hand, right? I thought that was really telling about who she is as a person, that she knows that it's going to take time away from figuring out how to make these relics. So we're talking about like how he feels responsible for her, and that's why he is using the blood oath. And obviously she's not very impressed with that. But they finally do some kissing. Like I can't believe it took half a fucking book for them to finally get to the kissing part.
Yeah.
And he's really frazzled by this. And so is she. Like I don't think either of them really expected that to happen. And then she's brought into the war meeting where Kingfisher, as the war commander, is addressing the captains and leaders of the Fey. You could feel the whole mood shift because Danya, who is the captain and a Fey warrior, accuses him of being a fucking traitor and draws her massive ancient sword on him. And then Cerys intervenes. Before Kingfisher can react, she puts her full power on display and unleashes her magic and shatters Danya's sword into hundreds of sharp silver fragments. And everyone's like, awesome. What the fuck just happened? So to assert his place and protect her from the political fallout, Kingfisher publicly claims Cerys as his own, just as the enemies hit the fucking riverbank.
Mm-hmm.
This chapter was just like, boom, bang.
It was hard for me to stop reading. I'm excited to get back into it. The only things I had on this chapter was that Amorath, where they go, it said it was the seat of the enemy, right? But it said it was Hell's Teeth. So the walls are made of obsidian. So they're made from bones of demons. So in the beginning, whenever Kingfisher came out and he was like, obsidian, obsidian, obsidian. So I'm like wondering, was he calling him a demon? Is that his because I was like, why does he say obsidian? So whenever it mentioned it here, I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. That Madra led them all to believe that they're, all demons through there.
Yeah. Well, that makes complete sense.
Maybe she's unleashing hell on everybody. And then also in here, whenever they're in their tent before they make out, it mentions that his tattoos on his hands, the rune tattoos on his hands are shifting. So there's another shifting rune tattoo that I want to know why.
Yes. I need to know more.
Yeah. So Totally random, probably not important. We learned that sitting by a fire will burn off pheromones. Super
Yes.
interesting. And also, I don't know if it mentioned this. So whenever they go into the war tent, the Danya or whatever, it mentions that her neck is bleeding and she has a scratch. And I wonder why it mentioned that, because I don't think it
I don't know.
said why. And like, why was that an important enough detail to put in there? So I'm curious to find out if anything comes from that.
I have to go back and reread that chapter.
Yeah. But yeah, everybody knows that they have an alchemist now.
Yep.
And yeah, they gotta go freeze the ice so that the dead can't make their way over.
I know. I thought it was a really good place to stop because now we're going to get into it.
Yeah, it was hard to stop though.
It was hard to stop. It was really hard to stop.
That's okay. We have less than, I don't know, not that much left, less than half a book. And I'm probably gonna
Halfway.
finish this. And it's gonna be really hard for me not to jump into Brimstone, but that's okay because we only have what, maybe 5 or so days before our next
Yep.
episode. So we can
Yep.
do it.
We can do it. We can definitely do
Yeah.
it. Hopefully, you guys will join us for part 2 of Quicksilver, and then we're going to continue on with Brimstone after that. You can follow us on our social medias for all the updates on our upcoming deep dives. You can follow Hannah at the Toppling TBR _ Hannah on Instagram, and the same for me, the Toppling TBR _ Stacey. You can find us on YouTube at the Toppling TBR, or Spotify at the Toppling TBR, and we have a Facebook page at the Toppling TBR. We hope that you have a wonderful reading week, guys, and we will catch you on the weekend.
See you next time.
Take care.